We're going to ask the question, though, is the offense good to go for 2025? We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So, Jay, spring ball is more than a week and a half finished, and I've just got this wondering. I'm wondering how you feel about it, how Sooner Nation feels about it. What's your confidence level in the Oklahoma Sooners offense going into 2025?
As of right now, even with Giovanni and Jadyn Gibson both being down due to, some pretty, big injuries, I feel pretty good about the offense. I think John Mateer's a baller. We've learned it. He plays with that confidence that you need, and it looks like he's working closely with his receivers. If anything, I would like to see... We probably need to see Mateer work more with some of the other receivers. I know that him and Giovanni Gibson built a nice bond. Deion Burks built a nice bond. You're seeing him a little bit with Carson Kent as well as Will Huggins. I need him to really get into the lab with a Zion Kearney, get very close to Keontez Lewis, Isaiah Sategna. He's probably going to need to get very acclimated and close with 6 different dudes and try to make sure he gets the ball to them in the right way, which I have faith he will. And then now you got Jadyn Ott you got to get the ball to on a regular basis because he likes to catch the ball out of the backfield and run. We saw Xavier Robinson can. So to me, the offense has enough weapons for me to be confident that they should move up, at least cut their ranking in half from where they were last year. At minimum, they'll be able to do that. So that puts them in the 55 range and then going up as far as offenses. But John, the one thing that I feel like I'm way more confident in, it makes me a little nervous, that offensive line. I think we've got a 2 deep finally that I trust can play. Last year, it wasn't that they were bad because they had a lot of bad moments. They were very inexperienced. But you saw that progression as the season happened, even with the injuries. You start to see them get better. So for me, the offensive line, of course, is the end-all be-all for us. And I think we're going to be just fine there.
If the offensive line is good, they're going to have a chance to be one of the better offenses in the country. If it's great, they'll be a top 10 offense. If it's average, it's going to be, we'll see. It could be an up and down season again, but I still think even with an average offensive line, this team scores a lot more points than what they did last year.
Yeah.
And a lot of it does rest on the shoulders of John Mateer. And you don't want to put everything on one guy, but the quarterback position, you kind of need that guy sometimes. And John Mateer has the feel of a guy that can carry the program. He can carry the weight of Oklahoma football fandom on his shoulders. He's a confident dude. He does not shy away from the responsibilities or the expectations that come with being the Oklahoma Sooners quarterback. And he's just leading in the right way. Will it translate to success on the field this fall? We'll see. But I think there's a reasons to be confident about it. I think if you can get that offensive line play, it'll help everything else out. The problem you ran into last year was not just that the wide receivers were injured. It's that the wide receivers and the offensive line were banged up and inexperienced. If you had a healthy offensive line, you would have felt fine with your group of receivers, and Jackson Arnold might have felt a little bit more comfortable to be able to let it rip sometimes.
Yes.
But you combine a banged up offensive line with inexperienced offensive line with a banged up wide receiver crew that was also very inexperienced with a quarterback that was also very inexperienced. And it just created the worst possible circumstances for an offense to actually be in. Now you've got an experienced quarterback that carries himself with a lot of swagger. You've got an offensive line that's going to be a lot more experienced when you bring in guys like Derek Simmons and you bring back, a Troy Everett and a Fabechi Wiwu, and you're emerging with an Eddie Pierre-Louis. And then you've got a couple guys in Ryan Foje and Michael Fasusi that everybody is raving about right now. And then you added Jake Michaela to push Troy Everett at center. And yeah, there's a lot to be confident and at least optimistic about. Now they just got to go perform.
Yeah, that's all we need them to do. If you go perform, I think we'll be good. One other thing, though, one observation I got from the Crimson Combine when it comes to John Mateer is just how much I think he's really going to be able to help Michael Hawkins. Mm-hmm. The one thing I noticed about Hawkins, similar to the problem we had with Jackson Arnold, was it felt like they were afraid to make a mistake and throw the ball. Well, John Mateer throws interceptions in practice, as in he throws them and he's willing to forget and go out there and grind it out again. You need to be able to see that somebody else is willing to make a mistake, be okay with it, apologize to his receivers, remind himself, go here instead of there, and then go back out there as if that didn't happen to get everybody else around him to get the confidence to say, oh, okay, so we cool with these type of mistakes. Yeah, I'm cool with my quarterback going deep or trying to thread the needle on a deeper pass and occasionally gets tipped, intercepted, or somebody tries to cut across. Now, I don't want him to be telegraphed, but I do want him to take risk and make opportunities, because the good thing for both of them is you have a defense you can truly lean on. The thing is, don't make a mistake after the defense forces a turnover. Don't give the ball back instantaneously, which we did that in a couple of games that we probably should have won. So I think Mateer having that confidence and that quote unquote moxie and being willing to take those chances and risks, I think that's going to do nothing but up the Michael Hawkins stock after him, to where I think Hawk can go out there and really show out for like 2 years. Because then at that point, he'll feel like, okay, I'm going to do that just as Mateer did. I'm going to throw those passes. I'm going to launch it. And let's see what happens. And to me, once you get him throwing and teams are forced to respect the pass, his dual threat ability is going to make him jump even more.
Yeah, he's going to zoom when he gets the opportunity to play. And I think the addition of Ben Arbuckle, I think, can't be overstated. You've got a guy that has had success at several different stops along the way with several different styles of quarterback. And the connection that he's got with John Mateer is going to create a little bit more symmetry in the offense this year. Whereas last year, there was that discussion of, hey, Seth Luttrell's calling the plays, but they're trying to keep as much of Jeff Lebby's offense in there as possible so that Jackson Arnold feels more comfortable. There was just never any cohesion in the offense. And that kind of stuff matters. And that chemistry between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, that kind of stuff matters as well. It's like a pitcher and a catcher. You got to have great chemistry and communication to be able to know what to call, when to call it, how to call it, what's working for your guy that day, what's not working for your guy that day. That's a lot of what the offensive coordinator has to be able to do, is adjust things to what's working in a given situation, in a given circumstance throughout the season. Hey, this thing that we wanted to do when we were in spring ball and fall camp, it's not flying right now. We got to adjust that. We can't keep trying to do the same old thing. And that was a part of the big issue that happened last year, is just too many times trying to fit square pegs into round holes, and it just wasn't going to work out. So a little bit more cohesion, a little bit more chemistry on the offensive side of the ball, a healthier offensive line with more experience. And listen, if you got Deion Burks and Isaiah Sategna healthy for a full season, I feel great about Oklahoma's wide receivers, because this offense is going to get those guys the ball in space and let them make plays after the catch, which is where those guys shine. So to finish it out, on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you in Oklahoma's offense?
I am about a 8 right now. They can move me up to a 9 if they show me that if we one, land a tight end, or 2, the tight ends that we currently have show me that they're either not needed as much, but they're going to be productive, or they're very productive. If these tight ends are productive, then I'm probably closer to a 10. I'll be like a 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm at a 7 right now, and that comes after the addition of Jadyn Ott, the running back, who will provide another dynamic element to the offense. I just need to see Jacob Sexton healthy and developing. I need to see Eddie Pierre-Louis take the step everybody expects him to take, and I think Oklahoma's offensive line is going to be good enough for Oklahoma to go be very, very explosive and very consistent offensively. And that's what you need. That's all you'll need. You don't need them to go score 50 points a game. Would it be great? Absolutely. Go score 50 points a game. But if they're up to 30 to 35 points per game on a regular basis, they're going to win a lot of football games because this defense is going to be really good. We'll talk about our confidence in the Oklahoma Sooners defense on our next episode. But next, we got to talk about another big win for Portal Mosier. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked